Hello, my name is Andrew and welcome to the channel dedicated to software engineering and suffering. So, let's have a small recap what I'm doing right now. Need to close these things. Okay. So, I'm solving one of the problems which are actual for me. It's about video generation. Right now, it takes too much of my attention. I need to SSH, wait for input, then I must provide some stuff, moderate, again press a few buttons, again press button, moderate, press button. I don't like it. The perfect scenario is somewhere in the morning I get notification to my favorite messenger about what you think about these videos, or maybe these texts, and maybe in 20 minutes I press yes, no, then I go make coffee, and maybe in 20 minutes or whatever I get another notification. Here is list of videos, what would you like to publish today? And then I press a few buttons and it's maybe 5 clicks instead of 20 minutes interval. So that's what I'm solving right now, and there are a few ways how to do it. A while ago I had a project written in Python. Let me share the link, Firefox. It was about pipelines, but here it is. It had a lot of dependencies, and I don't like dependencies. I want it to be simple. So it used to be a Django project with Redis, with Celery. And maybe I forgot to mention that there is database. No, that's bad. I don't want to use 4 dependencies to solve one problem. So I decided to do a bit different thing. It's about architecture. In one of these streams I have defined the architecture. It's simple. I have one binary, shared storage, and I don't want to use service registry and other things. What if I use multicast DNS? Because I have quite small project. That's actually how it works now. It has binaries with some configs. It can detect if config is missing some parameters, it won't activate that functionality. For example, in here, where is it? OpenAI chat completion. Yeah. So each of my blocks have some detector class which can provide some functionality telling that image blur by default it's enabled. Image add text, since it's done through the binary, through Golang, it doesn't require third-party libraries. All fonts are embedded into this binary, so it's also enabled by default. I don't need to scan local file system for fonts and other image processing libraries. In here, chat completion. And chat completion is a bit different. I have communication with OpenAI. At least a few blocks are working with it. It's fine. But how to detect if binary has connection to OpenAI and credentials are valid, no rotation is required? I can do cheap request named list models. It should yield me a list of models, and yeah, it goes to /models. That's it. So every block has this kind of detector class, including HTTP block, where I do HTTP request somewhere. Here it is. And if this request can be done, that means there is internet connection to somewhere. That somewhere defined in config. here. So each block has HTTP request detector, how frequently the frequency of those detections, conditions. For example, HTTP block visits google.com. Chat completion doesn't have any condition because it needs a token. So it comes through config, but it has check interval, and they all have check intervals made to 1 minute. Check interval of image resize is 1 hour because it's always true. I don't need to run this function frequently. So that's it. That was the plan of how it should be done. It's simple binary which can detect what hardware is capable of. And if this binary cannot perform OpenAI requests, it is aware of other binaries in the network because they have multicast DNS. That means if other binary have credentials, they will announce themselves in multicast that it is possible to perform that operation. So that's a small recap of what this stream series is about. And let's go to the most recent thing I used to have. Last stream I have created 2 blocks. It's about I created text-to-speech request, but there was a problem with image request when image is an array. That was the problem, and I used to solve it finally. So let me find it here. It was in functional test, obviously. Yeah, here it is. So I'll describe it briefly. Unit tests didn't detect any problems because unit tests are made for testing the function itself. When I was checking this function about let's pass it a list of texts which should be passed to image generation, it was working correct. But there was a problem in parsing some sort of declarations like where it is. Yeah, there was a problem parsing this kind of declaration. I had unit tests for input config and separate unit tests for input. Those two things are processed by different functions, and the combination of this obviously can be tested, but I decided to do a better way. I decided to introduce functional test with correct OpenAI client, which yields mocked server. So let's run this thing. It was resume. Yeah, this one. So this is a test. I'll explain how it works. So the test works. Fortunately, I have increased logging because previous logging was quite small and not obvious. So how does it work? First of all, I must declare pipeline itself. What should it do? So the pipeline looks quite simple. I have a block which makes a request for chat completion. There is model, there is some sort of system prompt, and user prompt. For example, in here I'm checking what happened in October 5th, today is 7th, but okay. Then there is second block. That second block works with text-to-speech. So it gets a response and sends the text to OpenAI to receive audio file. And this is how it is done. I simply use JSON path because it's JSON. Maybe I shouldn't use it, but let's leave it as is for now. After that, I'm sending audio file to OpenAI to get transcription. And that transcription is quite interesting because that transcription looks like this, what it is. Yeah, so let's copy. Come on, copy. Here it is. So I need this transcription in order to synchronize audio file and slides from video. So slide 1, it's this text. Then slide 2, this text. But what's important, each of those segments has start and end, which is measured in seconds. So from 0 to 8.14 seconds, there will be slide with duration of 8 seconds. After that, there will be second slide with a duration of, how much is it? 4 seconds, maybe 3 point whatever seconds. And it's iterating through this. This is the reason I need transcription. I don't save it. So after that, after transcription is done, I need to make a series of images. That's important because I don't need one image. I don't need one static image. I need a series of images which includes segment text. And let's say those images will be generated using prompts taken from each segment. And that's how it's done. I say, there is array. This array comes from transcription, and each of those segments, I need the text from it. After that, I provide some default values for this image generation, such as quality and size. This is aspect ratio fine for YouTube Shorts. And that's all. That's the pipeline. The problem I used to have, there were two problems. But after making this test, I managed to develop code faster instead of guessing what happens. You have to write tests first, please. And that's how it is done. First of all, I defined responses. For example, there is chat completion response, which is copy-paste of what OpenAI yields, but it has content which is copy-paste of what I wanted. There is another response of transcription, but for text-to-speech, I don't want to make MP3 files because I don't care about it. I have some binary data such as TTS content. After that, I say, okay, let's make some default image such as PNG image, which has this width, height. And after that, I say, image generation response will yield, and there is a response which contains base 64 image. That's the format of request I use. I don't need to have URL to visit that URL and download. I want to have base 64 in response in order to, let's say, save extra HTTP request. And that's the magic. This is the magic. I provide new handlers for mock OpenAI server, which will be set up in this test, and then it will be, after this test, destroyed. So that's how it's done. First of all, I declare /models because OpenAI detection, it visits /models. So let's do some sort of experiment. In here, I say models are available, everything is right, this block is detected. But what if I do this? I update this URL. That means detection of this block will fail and this test must fail. And there should be some sort of error. Where is it? Yeah, there is an error. No valid workers found for OpenAI test. And block chat completion. Yeah. So what did it do? It did not detect OpenAI block. It visited registry and multicast DNS. Obviously, they are mocked in this test. It couldn't find another binary which has this functionality enabled, and it yielded an error. That's exactly what I needed, because I have a test where those things are bouncing. It's, I think it's here. No, it's a worker registry test. Yeah, I have similar things. There was quite big test. Yeah, this is a test of 4 blocks, and there were 2 servers. At first server, we have disabled blocks, and second server have separate disabled blocks. But what I'm checking in this test, I'm checking that first processing was completed. The second processing at first worker was transferred to another worker where it was processed correctly. So that's what I was doing. And in here, I don't need to test transfer of processing because I have it here. Maybe later. And let's proceed. In here, I made some sort of mock response for chat completion. The same was done for text-to-speech. Fortunately, it's audio MP3 with some random bytes. I do not check those bytes. That's the reason why it's just a string for here. Audio transcription, it's big JSON from here, where segments located. And I think I also made an image response. Yeah, image generation always yields the same image. In this test, I was checking a few important things. It checks everything as it is except last block. Because here I have an array, that means this last block should produce 4 different outputs. Fortunately, it's one mocked image, so in here I have this cycle of checking that outputs. So I check that results notification channel will have 4 additional outputs. Maybe I should also check that it came from somewhere. Let me check. Get status, get block. Yeah, I can ensure that sweet equal completed processing for get block. Get ID, and I must ensure that it is OpenAI image request. So let's run it. I think I forgot it. Also, I forgot one more thing. Yeah, this is passing. Awesome. I forgot one more thing. And here I have one image. It's just mocked image. In order to make this test completely completed, finished, I need to yield 4 different images. And in here, I would be able to check that output was image as it passed. But I'll do it later. Yeah, let's do it a bit later. The same test, but it's about processing resume. What if in last stream, actually, I used to do the thing. I had 3 blocks worked correctly, but first last block it didn't work. So I don't need to commit 3 more OpenAI requests in order to debug image. I can resume at some certain at some point of this pipeline. So in here I am resuming processing at stage. So let's check. I created /models and image generations. I did not implement completion, text-to-speech, and transcription. I implemented only two, which is quite interesting. And after that, I declared registry. Yeah, here it is. And I simulated that first block has its results as, because I don't want to use some sort of storage which is remote. In test, I can mock it. I can insert the data straight to registry. And in here, I make saving files to storage. So how does resume works? Resume, I'll show it in pipeline code, data classes, pipeline. Yeah, here it is. So resume, first of all, it visits registry here. If I had resume, I have two separate lists. Lists of blocks which has been processed and list of blocks which will be processed. And after that, I say, okay, there is new registry for results. Please read all results of blocks which has been processed. That's how it's done. And this function, it makes records to the storage. So in here, I said, where is it? Storage, registry. Here it is. So I have some storages, and then I insert data straight to the registry because it's a test. And then I call registry, save this mock data to temporary files in my case. So it saves it to temporary files. Obviously, it makes defer to delete those files after the test. No matter the outcome, it should be deleted. And then I simply declare input data as there is some processing ID. There is some block. I do not pass any input. I simply say, I need to resume this. So it called start, but it's the same. Fortunately, I made it the same API interface. Resume handler, it calls resume pipeline. This one calls start pipeline. But both of those functions, they are copy-paste. So they use the same input. They use the same, where is implementation? Yeah, good. So it's start pipeline. It uses pipeline process. Resume pipeline uses the same code, it just copy-paste. So maybe in future, I will update start pipeline to skip some input data, but for now, it's more than enough to cover the thing I need. So I call resume this pipeline, and then I'm checking that there are 4 different processings in last block. Let me copy paste the thing from here. And here it is. And let's run this test. Yep, it works. Also, there are logs. Come on. There are logging about processing. So this is this test. It said started processing. Processing with input 0. They should be processing with input 1. 0 completed. Storage. Yeah, here it is. With input 1. So it yields some verbose stuff, but good. So let's try it. And first of all, let's go to the Firefox. Let's visit mini.io, data pipelines. This is my test. So there were some images made when I was experimenting, so let's delete them. because I have text, I have transcription also. Let me make it bigger. Yeah, now it's better. I have all the data to resume processing. I don't need to make some 3 extra requests. So I can do this. Let's check 7F. Is it? Yep, 7F, block get event image. And I hope it will work, because it might not. Oh, there is an error. Let's check that error. Ah, yep. It's a well-known error. Come on. Maybe I made copy-paste somewhere in the test. So let's just copy-paste this module. So get event transcription. Yep. Segments. Oh, by the way, I forgot. So I made a copy paste from the test to pipeline I'm using for this test. I remember that at last stream there was a problem. Yeah. My storage sometimes yields cached results. So if I request text file while clicking on it, let's assume here, it might yield an image. It was in test, it was in a few places. So when I'm using API, it might do this. So let's make the following. Till today, I must have these segments. Yep, disable caching. So today will be a bit interesting day about problem solving. I have a problem with cache in Mini.io. So I need to figure out how to disable that cache. That's what I'm going to do today. Let's Google it. Disable caching for consistent performance. Oh, there was such problem this year. Nice. They should have some sort of settings. What? By the way, I had an idea about making FTP. So Mini.io, the only reason I made it, it was like brew install and then authenticate through some credentials in here. Maybe it is time to set up FTP. And because in the end I will need to work with FTP because I love FTP. FTP has clients for everyone. Let's check one more thing. Yes, iOS can work through this interface. Configure bucket. Let's check what they have here. Version default. So let's add it as a thing to the next stream, October 9. So I would like to introduce new interface for shared storage, FTP. Obviously, this binary should support both shared storages such as Mini.io and FTP, and later I'll migrate because it yields me some inconsistent results when I'm make test. So some hello words. I have a test for, I have disabled the test. Let's go unit test, storage test, skip. What kind of error do I have here? It's the blocks, I think. Shut down. Okay, it's not a big deal. Maybe it's because some default configuration on old laptop and it ends like this. Shut down, yeah, it's fine. Yet I'll keep it disabled. So that's what I will need to do. Disable caching. How was it called? Don't want to do. Want do. No. Yeah, that is not. I'm not going to do this. Yet I must check what settings do we have. Okay, no problems. Home inspect profile. Configuration, nice. Compression. No, I don't need this. Hello. Okay, maybe it's transient thing, but let's proceed. I would like to introduce new shared storage as well as my pipeline has some unique blocks which are here. It's about moderation and approval. Before that, let's do a bit different thing. Introduce. I have a block which adds some text to the image. Let's go here. How can I do it? Maybe I'll open one of images I have. So I hope you can see this image. It's one of the images generated through those pipelines, but it's missing text and it's missing background for this text. So what I would like to do, so I have this pipeline which has approvals, which has a lot of things, but in my test pipeline, I have nearly everything except a block which will add real image, which will add segment text to this image. And what's important, it shouldn't be just text. There should be some sort of UI element such as background, alpha channels, etc. But meanwhile, I have another roadblock. It's about approvals. So what should I do first? Should I implement approvals first or image? I have image at text, but there should be image at the watermark maybe. It's about combining extra text from segment with alpha channels, etc. So I think it was somewhere here. Request image for the segment. Yep, that's it. It's already done. Download image. I don't need it. Add transcription. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Add transcription text to image. I have this block, but this block adds just a text. So maybe I can do it a bit different. It's possible for me to say, hey, block image at text. Here, it has some sort of parameters such as font size, font color, text position, but what if I want font background? That's maybe solution. So let's go and check. How can I check it? I had Python code, but I need to ensure that it's valid. Yeah, here it is. So my Python code in this case looks like this. So I have font size, text color. It has text method, text background color, and padding / margin. Yep, and I'll copy paste it here and here. Oh no, I need to do it twice. So what I'm doing, I'm copy pasting some Python code with Python libraries. I'll need it in here as Golang code without libraries. So that's it. I have text which is added somewhere. I have a background for this text which is added somewhere. But what's important for me, because these values are hard-coded, I think it's possible to do it as a parameter in this block, which will unlock what I want. It is implement block. So I need to be able to do this. Where it is? Here. I need to start making integration to chat messengers. First of all, let's start with quite easy one. It's send to Telegram moderation. I will have to send some text to my messenger, and if it works, then that means this block is done. After that, there should be another block which says fetch, that what I clicked to proceed. Stop pipeline, it's already implemented, so it will stop processing this event if I said decline. So it's done already, TTS request done, transcription done, image for TTS segment. This is blocked because of storage. Obviously, it's about config of the storage. It's my problem. Maybe it will be solved with FTP. I need simple, stupid solution. I don't need over-engineered solution. Also, I had a plan about peer-to-peer communication. That plan was about, I have request. So I have HTTP request to process some data. Right now, if I need to resume, I must visit shared storage, etc. But what if there are two HTTP requests? First HTTP request to process some data with flag to wait for this data. And the second HTTP request which sends the data and flag to start processing. So it should have some sort of state inside of this binary, but when I will have, let's assume there is load balancer. That means first request might go to some worker, which will wait for data, and second request with data will go to another worker. That means I will have to work with load balancer to have some sort of session, and I'm not happy with this. That's the reason I'm using shared storage, but I'm still thinking about that. So that's the plan. I have 18 minutes for the stream. Let's do the following. First of all, I'll add new parameter. FTP will be done maybe today's evening. Yeah, I'll add new parameter. So what we have, font size, font color, text position. In here we have the same, but text method. So it's okay. I don't need this thing. What I need is text background color. Duration, I don't need this. Background image, I don't need this as well. What else? Text font size. This is the thing. This is about font. So I have position of a text, but it simply ignores a few things such as I'll try to show it. First of all, I need to do config. Background color and background margin. So background margin, it's about these parameters. So let's do it as experiment. Opacity, yes, for sure. X background. Let's make it 10%. Yeah, so I'll keep these two parameters. String, float, float. Yes, it's done. Then I need to do declaration here. We have it as a text. Text background. Here it's color. Margin. Opacity. Type. First is string and next are floats. Float was done as number format. Yep. Default. So default values, it's 0.5. I'll copy paste it because I obviously can fmts printf. By the way, it's already done here, but what I want to do is to minimize number of code lines. Opacity, margin, and here so let's run the test. I have this test already done here. Yep, all the tests has been passed, but what I want at the success, I'll copy paste this test because it's making some parameters with, let's make 30, 40. It's a resize, come on. It's me who made it wrong. It was image at text, yeah, this one. Because I remember there was quite long test. Yes, nice. Test failed. That's the problem in the schema. somewhere. Yep. Beautiful. If test's failing, that means hello copy paste. And they're working. Nice. What I wanted to do, it's here. I wanted to introduce new parameters. Let's decrease number of fonts, because this test it took how much? Schema 37. No, it's fine. So I would like to add new parameters such as this to the list of this. Color, it's a list of strings. Let's make it as opacity 0.5, is it? Yes. And then schema it is 0.5. Why it's generating 50? In here it might be 10 and 20. So in here I should introduce color opacity and margin. In here I should say for color opacity margin. That's very bad. I don't like this too much. Here I can say color, hello, opacity and margin. Yeah, so that is bad. There should be a function to make the product of this in order to avoid that. But let's do this. Color, opacity and margin. So this test, it was 0.37. Let's check how much it will take now. Sometime I have 10 seconds timeouts, but yep, what happened? They were equal. Each of them was equal. Beautiful. Because those parameters are not respected in the block itself. So it's time to include it. Okay, it will be done here. But before that, I need to do one more thing. Set process, the code. In here, I should say return. And before that, I must save no, it should be OS open. Oh, maybe it should be PNG save. Does it have it? I have it decoded. Okay, I must write a code with open file, write bytes to those files. That is quite boring, but it must be done. So let me just copy paste it. How it is doing? So let's create image expect now PNG. I don't need this. I need to do this PNG decode. I don't need that because it's already in correct bytes. So I need to say Yep. So it should create a file here. Let's run this test. Yep, I have the picture in my test. So let's make it as pipeline requires. This picture should be this size. With font size should be, I think, 50. Let's check. Mm. Yeah, font size should be 50. Where is it? That should be it. Let's try again. Nice. So we have picture like this. And let's do the following. First position will be center. It's just test. Font color, let's keep it as is, but let's make it a white color. In the end of the test, I'm checking that each image is not equal to previous, so I can experiment here. So it should be in the middle. Yes, nice. So I have it here, which is absolutely fine. And now it's time to start respecting background parameters. How to do it? I have a background color. Let's work with this first. So I have a text. So let's do the following. There is position x, y, a x, and a y. What does it return? It doesn't return anything. So I will visit Firefox. Oh, let's ask Copilot. I'm not sure, but let's go. Set hex color. It's current color. Yeah, it should be not white, but yeah, nothing changed. Okay, that's bad. But what I need, let's check methods. DC, I saw clip. Updates clipping region. Draw image. That's interesting because it will allow me to make watermarks. It's good. Image anchored. Draw rectangle. That's what I possibly need. Let's do draw rectangle. And now I need to say a few things. What kind of X, what kind of Y, and I can take it from here. But I need to check if drawString anchored. It doesn't return anything. I think I found one thing. There was a method named measureString. So it's here. Measure multi-line string. Oh, by the way, it's interesting. What if I make text big text? Oh, there is an error, of course, because of here. Yes. Oh, come on, it's time to make string measurements because I was adding text without extra checks. Fortunately, it took me a while to understand that there is a method named measureString, maybe measure multi-line string, and this text should be /n, should have new lines. Because in Python it was quite simple. There is a text and it will add it through multi-lines like parameters, line breaker. In here I'm doing draw string anchored. Is there draw string wrapped at the specified point? Aha, that's what I'm possibly missing. So fortunately, I can make it here. Align center. It's top left. Okay. But what I want to try is center. Let's go to the center here. Maybe I should do this here. X, Y, X, A, Y. Yes, this should be X, Y. Let's try it. That's not in the center. It just disappeared. So that's what I'm going to rework. This is a boring process of trying to match some parameters such as this. For example, I have function signature which says xy, ax, ay. I'm copy pasting it here. It's xy, aa, xy. X, y, ax, ay, and there is width. Yeah, I don't. Let's do this. The wanted float, is it? Yes, so let's make it float. Maybe it might copy paste. Float, let's make it 64. Let's give it another try. Yeah, but where is text 1? Text 2? I'll figure out. So it should be quite easy to add some bounds. And after that, my plan is to take care about shared storage, because in test, when this storage is a local file system, everything works. When it's remote file system, it has problems. That's what I must to deal with. So as for now, thanks for watching. That was update. See you next stream. Bye bye.